evening and welcome to Matters Arising. Today the 30th of March, the year 2024. Slowly but sure we're closing the curtains in the month of March, and we'll be able to welcome the month of April. This is Matters Arising on Prime Television Zambia, and I'm your host. My name is Tabola Kelvin Chifoko, and we're looking at current affairs. Where have we gone wrong? This is the question that we're asking, and my guest, he was a minister in charge of defense. I stand to be corrected. Maybe he was the youngest minister ever to have held or presided over the Minister of Defense. He'll be able to clarify. Richwell Siamunene is my guest. Honorable, good evening and welcome to Matters Arising.
Thank you, Kelvin. Good evening, and good evening, viewers.
Am I right when I say maybe you are the youngest, or you are still to be referred to as the youngest person to have presided over the Minister of Defense?
I've not gone into the history to ascertain whether indeed it's true, whether I was the youngest of all those who have held that position. So I will not state specifically to say yes or no.
Thank you so much.
It remains in that order.
It remains in that order. Thank you so much. Viewers will be able to give you an opportunity to call in once we open the phone line. But those of you that are joining us on our official Facebook page, which is Prime Television Zambia, you can drop your comments or your question, and I'll be able to ask that question on your behalf to my guest, Richwell Siamunene, Honorable, and hoping that you'll be able to respond, to your question. We are looking at current affairs. Where have we gone wrong? Honorable, there are people that are seeing you, after so many years, and maybe they are wondering, say, is Honorable Siamunene still around? Was he out of the country? Why is he now back and appearing and commenting on national issues?
Well, you see, politics is supposed to be giving chance to those who are in position. Let them run their time, and they must be given time. And in my position, I had to go into hibernation to see what else I can do at the personal level. And I did what I did, I think, for the last 8 years or so after I lost as a member of Parliament for Snazongwe. I said, let me go and do some farming and also other business ventures. And right now I said, look, there's a lot that is happening in the country, and it calls for all of us to get involved.
When you say the past 8 years you were doing, of course, we appreciate issues of farming and businesses, and you've talked about giving chance to those that are in leadership. It sounds to be very shocking for me, because Zambian politicians are not known in giving chance to others.
No, you see, it's like relay. You need to give the mantle to the others as well to run their race, and I believe so, because it's not about me, it's about the country. So those who have the opportunity, let them run their time. And there are other things that we can do. I am originally a business person, so I had to contribute in the other way, because it doesn't mean that contributing to the growth of the country is only when you get involved in politics. No, there's other things that you can do outside politics that can contribute to the growth of the country or the economy. So in that regard, I had to get committed to other things and see how best we can contribute in that order, the other side of life.
The 8 years that you've been busy, the background, like you've said, you are a business-oriented person, and you've been doing farming, like you've said. Now that you are back in the limelight, are you back in politics,
No.
Or what is it that you've said a lot is happening? And what voice are you adding? Is it a political voice or it is a business or farming voice?
It's a business right now. It's a business voice. It's a Zambian voice. Because whatever happens, whether you are in business or other human endeavors, it will affect you. If the decisions are made by politicians, those decisions, they don't end at the politician. They will still affect in the other business sector. So basically, it's a whole issue. Politics that does touch all sectors. It touches the businessmen, touches those in the social sector, in agriculture, whatever it is of human endeavor, it will be affected by policies that are done by politicians. So actually, politics is central. Politics is central. Any decision that is made there, right or wrong, it will affect either negative or positive.
Honorable, people that are watching us and people that are listening to your submissions, right, maybe others, like personally, I came to know you as a politician, and the 8 years you've gone under, and now that you're back, are you back in active politics? Are you still active in terms of politics?
I am now active in national affairs. National affairs, not in terms of politician totally, no, commenting on national affairs. Whatever that I feel that I can comment on this particular subject, I have the right to do so because I'm a Zambian. After all, the decision that is made, it affects me. So I have to comment. Maybe what I have is something that will help those who are in government. Because these who are in government, they need to be helped by way of suggesting certain things that you feel that, why can't we do this way? We have debt restructure. We have all these things that are affecting us. We have poverty. We have all these things. So if you have certain idea that has come in your mind, I think it's better that you are able to take it forward by way of the way we are doing right now.
Let's talk about the 8 years at a personal level or at a national level. The 8 years that you've been, or you hibernated. How have we moved as a nation in terms of current affairs? I know that in the past 8 years you were not vocal, you were not active, you were not commenting. Now you are commenting. Let's begin from the 8 years that you haven't been commenting. How have we moved as a nation, as Zambia, in terms of current affairs?
Well, I think as people, we have failed. Let me say that as people, we have failed. We have not done well as a country. Because we are where we are because of what has happened or what happened in the past. And now, should we continue with this trajectory? No. There are certain things that we have not done correctly. That has made us be where we are, which we need now to do them in a manner that it will give us prosperity.
When you say as a people we have failed, we've not done the right thing, it is very broad. Are you talking about the citizens? Are you talking about citizens? Have we been so lazy that we have failed to work so hard? Or is it the people that we ushered into office as our leaders, policymakers, politicians are the ones who have failed us? Is it the marketeers that have failed? Because when you say we have failed as a nation, where have we? Is it the clergy, that the men and women of the call are the ones that have failed us?
When I say as people, because the country composed of number of issues, it emanates from the voters. The voters vote for politicians,
sure.
And politician goes to work. And if something has not gone well there, because the voters, they are employers, isn't it?
Yes.
So the employer as well will say, look, maybe we didn't make a right choice, or maybe there is no guidance in terms of the way they are supposed to operate. Those who we have given the power to adjudicate on our behalf. So basically, that is what it is. Because as a country, say for example, I will give you a practical example right now. we are faced with the severe hunger. And this severe hunger and this drought itself, it's not the first time that the country has faced a drought of this nature. We have had drought in the past. But what did we do to mitigate that? Up to now, we are still talking about drought. Certainly we would have done something there to avoid a situation of this nature. We had drought in Kaunda's days. We had drought in Achiruba. We had drought in Mwanawasa, where we had those winter maize. And we had drought also in, I remember when I served as a defense minister, we had drought in the President Lungu's time. And then now we have drought in His Excellency President Hakaine's time. Now, what did we do? We did nothing. Okay? Yet we have water. Okay? We have surface water. We have sometimes when we have a good rainfall pattern, and we didn't harvest the water enough that when we are faced with such a situation, we'll be able to use the water and irrigate our crops. That is why I'm saying we have failed, including me as because I was there in that position. So that is why we cannot continue in that manner. We have to do something different now, such that when we are faced in a situation of this manner, we'll be able to say, okay, we press this button, and people will be able to grow maize, or will be able to alter their crops and have the harvest. So that's what I'm saying. Even in the same vein, in the mining sector, from the time the copper was discovered, how many copper, we are talking about copper, cobalt, we're talking about all these metals that we have, gold and whatever. How many of our Zambians are owning successful mining operations? How many of Zambians, perhaps very insignificant in terms of record that I have? So we could have created up to now billionaires or millionaires, Zambian, and those who have reinvested in other sector. So this is why I'm saying, as a country, we have failed. Perhaps the major thing that I've seen is that also our systems, our financial systems, our government systems, and they are not strong enough to guide those who are given the responsibility to run their affairs. So there are so many loopholes, and that is why I'm saying, look, as a country, we have failed. Because if we did things right, from the time, at one point, we were at the same level with Singapore, okay? And that, if we did things right, we would have been at the same level right now. So which means the Singaporean, they did something right. We did not do, or we didn't do something right, and we did something wrong, or we didn't do at all. That's why I'm saying, as a nation, because when I'm talking about the nation, I'm not excluding any government. I'm talking about from the time of Kaunda, when leadership were being changed and whatever. I think there was some lapse of some kind in terms of our systems. Yes.
I'm happy that you've touched the issue of drought, and you said this is not the first time that Zambia is being hit by this drought. And now the president declared the drought as a national disaster and an emergency, and he talked about issues that needs to be put in place in order for Zambians not to suffer or to die of hunger. What are some of the measures that you are proposing that this government or us as a people should be able to do in order for us to survive this drought?
I think I did say on one forum, I think it's through your media team, when I was in Livingstone, I suggested that I think the move is to take stock of our harvested water. Because any water that we have, whatever dams that we have in this country, it belongs to, whether it owned by private or whatever, or the state, it belongs to government. All those waters that we have in the country, they are ours. And we need to take stock of what we have right now, our surface water. And also, we need also to take stock, what do we have in terms of underground water? Like they say, for example, in Southern Province, most of the districts, because I was a chairman for Southern Water and Storage for 5 years or so. Now, we did a survey where we had to ascertain the extent of the groundwater. And we found that there was only I'm not mistaken, one district, Zimba district, that has a problem of underground water. The rest, we have underground water. So that means that we can still utilize that underground water through solar farms or solar installations by way of bringing that water to the surface to water our crops. So that was suggested, and I heard the president himself say, look, we are going to remove tax on these solar installations, and which is a good move. And this move should not stop now. When we have good rainfall pattern next year, we should not stop. We should continue with that kind of a thing until when we have all things that are needed in order for us that we avoid a situation like this, what is prevailing right now. So I think that's a good move, and that has been done in terms of making ourselves safe to avoid the drought. So basically that one has been done, and that is a good move in the right direction. We need to continue now. If we continued that time when we started doing that, so this time around we would have not have faced such a calamity of this nature. We could have just started using our solar farms or our irrigation system to water the crops. And
still on the issue of drought, the agriculture sector, do you think we've got right policies or right managers in terms of the agriculture sector, also not just depending on rain-fed, but also issues to do with irrigation, and also the pronouncement by the president even urging the defense forces, who at one point you presided over the defense in this country. Do they have the capacity? What is it that they need to do in order for them to realize or to walk the path which the president has said defense forces should now enter into irrigation farming? Do they have the capacity?
Yes, they have the mental capacity. Okay? They have the intellectual capacity. In terms of growing other capacities, like equipment and other things that they need to use in order to do their assignment, those are things that we can create. What I know is that the capacity itself, it's created. Once there is commitment, that capacity will be created. I hear people that is Zambian, they have no capacity, all these things. I think it's not right to downgrade the people of Zambia in that order. We have the capacity. The capacity is created when the mind has been tuned to do that assignment. I know that in the defense force, there are disciplined men and women there. There are men and women who are determined to make sure that whatever the assignment they are given, they are able to accomplish it. And they have no excuse. I think it's the right way in order for us to have food security. Because right now, if those people are committed, I think it's a benefit on our part of the people of Zambia, because they are already on payroll. So all what they need to do is that to move them from there to do that assignment, and they will be able to do. And the good thing is that they will be able to absorb even the youth that we see around there, where they are not employed. They can be still being engaged by the same people in those farms that
you've talked about
unemployment.
You've talked about reducing the unemployment and making use of the youths out there who don't have employment. You presided over this important ministry as minister. How are they going, or how can they absorb that youth unemployment or people that are languishing without how can they do it?
Say, for example, as a country, if we commit ourselves that each district there must be a farm of some kind, and that means that the youth in that particular district will be engaged in those farms and be able to produce whatever that is required in that particular province, because not all the provinces are supposed to produce one commodity. There are different areas which can produce different kind of crop. So what I'm saying that they can absorb the youth. They can get a number of them, because I know that when they do that, they were able to doing two things at one go. They will reduce unemployment, okay? Instead of those boys and girls to get involved in other criminal activities, they will be committed there. And secondly, they will also increase our food security and be able to export. They can grow enough. They have the capacity. All what they need is to be reinforced with those equipment that are needed. Say, for example, irrigation system and other equipment that will necessitate their operations. So they can do it. And we are not saying we give the responsibility to them alone. No, we are saying let's increase our capacity in terms of crop production, because we have markets around us. We have all these neighbors that we have. They are a red market for our farm produce. So we can easily export once we produce. And Zambia's central location is a very big advantage in terms of exports to our neighbors. First, let's identify what our neighbors need. In Angola, they need food. In Congo, they need food. In Tanzania and other countries, Botswana, they need. Let's identify what they need in those particular countries. And then, okay, we can grow. Because Zambia has got enough land, fertile land for that matter, and have surface water, which we can utilize. So all what it requires now is planning and commitment.
Talking about planning and commitment, again with the issue of drought, Zambians at the moment are experiencing 8 hours load shedding in the energy sector. It has been a song that has been sung by different politicians that we need to diversify, not just depending on hydro power, but also we need to look at possibilities of solar. We need to talk about producing, energy through, wind. Where are we getting it all wrong, and what is your proposal in the energy sector? Because at the moment, 8 hours, it is, a problem or a challenge to small and medium enterprises, those who are owning barbershops, butcheries, metal fabricators. It is a challenge with the 8 hours that is, being observed. As a Zambian and somebody who is passionate, what is it that we need to do in the energy sector to avoid what we are seeing at the moment?
Okay, is the right thing to do is to have a mix. What do I mean? I mean the sources of our power must be increased. We have been depending too much on hydro, which is affected by rainfall pattern. Now, you have talked about wind. Why can't we have our engineers? I'm not talking about technology somewhere else. I want our engineers must engineer something to have.
You feel we have engineers with that capacity?
They must do it. That's why they are called engineers. They must.
The fact that they haven't been doing it, then
they must do now. They must be given a task to say, can you do? You are engineers. That's why you are called engineers. Land men. They must start thinking. We need the Zambians to start thinking now, because we have been relying too much on outsiders, and we are not thinking ourselves, our own thoughts. Because why can't we generate our own thought and have those who are called engineers and so on and so forth to generate things that we can use and the other people can use elsewhere and export. We want our own technology to come from Zambia. We want it. So they can also leverage on that one. Wind. We can also have solar. We can have solar farms and be able to get power from there. As we are having now the sunshine, this could be an advantage to produce more power now in this line. And then you have also the coal. We have enough reserves in this country for coal, which we can produce enough. South Africa, if you talk about South Africa, their major source of power is from coal-fired thermal plants. Talk about China, coal-fired thermal plant. Even Great Britain, at a time before they migrated, they used coal so much that they were contributing much to these gases that they are talking about, that we are contributing. They are contributing to weather pattern. So we have not reached there, and that's what we have. So let's use it. Let's have the technology where we can trap the gases and reduce the emissions. So we can do that. We can have maybe 1,000 megawatts in Mamba being produced there, or more than. Well, they are just producing now about, it was 150, 300 megawatts. So they can increase the production. It's just a matter of government say, okay, can you increase? And they give them the necessary equipment and whatever they are owed, they are given their monies, and then they will increase and build more and have more power. So that in the times of like this, where we have less rainfall, then we are able to sustain those people who have talked about, those who are they have barber shops, those who are welders, and so on and so forth. Yes, these are hand-to-mouth businesses, whereby if we don't weld a window frame, no one will come and give you the money. Maybe you got money from CEEC or any other none, then which means your repayment will be affected. Okay, so I think this is how we can grow. Let's sustain ourselves in terms of our energy consumption. So much so that we don't delay progress. Because if most of manufacturing companies or sector, they need this energy in order for them, and where we can maybe have more growth is on the manufacturing part, where there is value addition. So to have that value addition, you need power. Now, how do you do? Then that means the economy will go into retardation in terms of our growth. So that is how we can do it. We can look at all avenues that can give us the energy. Look at them and have a mix and make sure that they are able to complement each other.
In your preamble, Honorable, you talked about us not doing the right thing as a people, and you've not, singled out a single, government or regime, but you've from the Kaunda. Let's talk about the mining sector. Recently, we saw the new Dawn administration unveiling an equity partner at Mopani with 51 shares, and Zambians through ZCMYH with 49%. Issues with KCM giving it back to Vendata. We know it has been done, and we were told that there are just some small issues that they are ironing out, and very soon, KCM will be, running at maximum. What is your take on the equity partner and the unlocking of Mopani, with Zambia having 49 and that investor having 51? It has raised a mixed reaction from the opposition, from the governing party, or people that are in the UPND. Different sectors have commented differently on that unlocking of Mopani. What is your take?
They are both right. Those who are complaining, they are right, and those who are saying, okay, let's start the operation, they are right. Now, the issue here, the key issue for me is that we have no control of our mineral wealth. We have no control. Even when the minerals are being exported, even when income is being raised, revenues are coming, but these monies don't belong to the Zambia. They will either remain there once the sale has been done. Very little will come into the country. Maybe just to come and do exchange and pay the salaries and so on and so forth. That the copper may not help us, because that is our major export. And how can we have the more benefit from the copper? And that is why at one time there was a mind of President Manawasa, who said, no, let's have windfall tax, whereby if you get more, we also get more as a country. That was the right decision. Although the ultimate goal for Zambia, it should be we should own this mine. We should grow our capacity so that we are able to bring all the monies back into the country. They go into the Zambian banks and make the banks liquid enough so that you and me and other people can go to the bank and borrow the same money to invest in other sectors. By so doing, you find that there will be more activities, exchange activities. And then once you do that, then you are growing the economy, you are expanding the economy. And then after we've done that, the economy has been expanded, that means the government now will have more resources because they will be able to tax to a good number of sectors that will be active at that time. So now what we have is that when these sales are done, the monies are kept there. Sometimes they will tell you that we borrowed money. This copper that we have, we sold it already because we borrowed money from this particular bank and we are paying them. And one time they will tell you that no, we bought equipment worth so much, so we are paying them. You don't have any clue whether that is correct or not correct. And as a result, the money will remain there. What comes here is very small, such that it cannot affect even our exchange rate. So that is where we are, because we have no control. We should now go into a position whereby we should have control, and that we should be able to know exactly what is made there and exactly what are the costs that goes into that. Now, if you tell me 51% under corporate governance, it means that the 51% they will have the management. And where decisions are made is where? In management. So management can decide that this is what we bought, we had these challenges and this and this, and then because you rely on your 49%, are you not going to rely on the dividend when they are declared, when the profit is declared? So when are they going to declare profit? You don't know, so that you benefit as a country from your shares. So that is what we are talking about. That is my concern. My concern is that going forward, we should look at the areas where we will have to mine our sojarite, we'll have to mine our if you have diamond, we have to mine our own cobalt, we should mine our copper, and we should know, and our own gold, and this one in copper belt, the precious stone. So much so that when we have those sales, the whole amount that we raise from there, it all come into the economy.
Honorable, there are people that will still, are not clear on what, our leaders or people that we entrust with leadership get to think about Mother Zambia. Why am I saying so? We had gold being discovered in Kasenseli by the locals. No investor came into Zambia to discover gold in Kasenseli, but the locals discovered. Government moved in, stopped the people. They started looking for an investor to come and do mining in Kasenseli. Let alone, things were stopped. We were told politicians were getting gold in Kasenseli. We have Sujirite. Again, there were people who were even arrested mining Sujirite illegally. Government moved in, stopped the whole operation, and up to now, we are sitting on minerals. What is it that we'll be able to do in order to realize the benefit of these natural resources? Not whereby gold is discovered by the villagers, government moves in and says, we are looking for an investor to come from South Sudan and invest in the gold that was discovered by the locals themselves, without any machinery.
I think that is a mindset change that we need to do. The love, you see, I know that what I'm going to say, some they will not like it. Okay? Some politician will not like it. But that is the truth. Even those who are going to hunt me, let them hunt me, because I'm saying the truth here. The problem here in Zambia is greediness. If you find the politician, they are greed. They want to whatever that is made, they put in their pocket. And they want to call somebody outside. Because you see, what happens this? I've been in these government offices. What happens this? I don't care who will not. If tomorrow I drop, they will know that I've told you the truth, and I've told the people that are listening.
Tell us the truth.
The truth is that why we are saying Zambians they have no capacity is because when we call somebody from outside the country, what is going to happen is that you want to give him or her a mining tenement or a company mining tenement. That what he will do is that he will give you a commission.
Okay,
you get a commission, and
these are done in public offices.
Sometimes it's done outside the country. An offshore account has been opened.
But by who are the people that are doing this?
The Zambians, your people, the Zambians. We don't love the country. How come you have all these? You have mentioned those. Yes, emerald. You have emerald.
Yes,
the highest grade so far. We have emerald. If we quantify all these, how much are we going to be making per annum? We'll be making about $30 billion or so per annum. And how much do we owe? For them, we owe them how much? It's about 14 or so, in the region of $14 billion. That's what we owe.
Yes.
And you see, it's because we see we want to hide in the issue of capacity. Yet the truth is that we don't love the country. If we love the country, let some politician come out and say, from Switzerland, these are reserves that Zambia has. Diamond, this is the reserve that we have. Copper, this is the reserve. In quantifying all this, what we have, Zambia is worth so much in terms of mineral wealth. And what we are going to do now is that once we do this, we shall mine, and this is the percentage that we will get. So Zambia will get this portion. From the rest will be taken by those people who are going to invest.
Whenever you've talked about greediness and people that are watching, how is it possible to get rid of this greediness in our politician, or it will just be the same old song that some Zambians are greedy, and that is why minerals are discovered, they will stop you and look for.
There was an Auditor General's report. What happened? They have issued that there was 1.3 billion which has been misapplied or been lost in the process. So what is there? It's greediness. We have all these, we have mentioned about our own God, our own what? There are sometimes helicopters and what coming from outside, from our neighbor, they getting gold and so on and so forth. At what time we even intercepted an animal to be taken to South Africa?
Our very own animal from Zambia,
yes,
taken to South Africa.
We intercepted. It was there in Chiranga. So this is what there are a lot of things that are being taken outside the country, minus the knowledge of the system. Whether, of course, if you are in charge, there are people in charge, they may be the knowledge that somebody has been benefited and they are allowed that. You have also these issues of Mukula and whatever, all these sources. You mean that if we quantify all these sources that we have, we can fail to pay 14 billion. What is 14 billion? And then the other people now outside the country are saying Zambia is bankrupt. I laugh. I said, look, why? How can Zambia be bankrupt? And then the same media again, you report that there is a huge deposit of copper that has been discovered somewhere else. I think I can't comprehend that. It's very difficult to comprehend that. How then are we poor? Then it comes to that, because we are poor because some Zambians, they are greed. They want themselves to own everything. Yet, when we are given the responsibility to run the affairs, you must make sure that every Zambian has a share from our mineral wealth, either by employment, either by investing in other sectors, and so on and so forth. I think when we will come to reality and say, let's just do the right thing now, you will see Zambia will be one of the richest countries in the whole, if not in the whole world, because we have everything, literally everything. So I think let's just do things right and say, look, whatever that I'm going to get, it's mine, and I'm going there to save, not to save myself. There are two things. There is love of money and love of the people. So if those who have the love of the people they will do things right for others. But those who have love of money, they will want to amass wealth for themselves, even the one that they cannot use in their lifetime. They will still want to keep. I think we need to grow. We need to transcend from that kind of thinking and say, look, let's just adopt Jesus' way of doing things, that I'm going there to save, to be a servant.
Honorable, before we open the phone line, I know there are people that are willing to engage you or to call in and add their voices. Let's talk about the politics. The Public Order Act. Successive governments have been promising, the Zambian people that we are going to amend it. And at one point, I stand to be corrected, in one of when you appeared on one media house, you said you don't blame the police. The police have been blamed by the opposition and also the current government, that it is using the police to fight political battles. Public Order Act, playing field, allowing the opposition, also the opposition crying foul that were not being allowed. Those were in the previous administration. I saw in one of the papers even saying we want to be covered by the national broadcaster. Again, the national broadcaster has been used as a preserve of those that are in government. Quickly, Honorable, before we engage the viewers.
I think what politicians don't realize one point, that there is the karma. There is karmic law. This universe that we live in is a universe of laws. And there are laws that you need to meet. So if you do something, the law says, if you do something to another, that would be done also to you. I think we need to be fair here, so that the politician can understand that when you are in that office, do something that is fair. That if you are out of that office, you'll be able to be protected by the same law. Because when we get into office, we tend to forget that you will come out. And you tend to put laws that protect you when you're in the office so that you do not come out. But you see, no one can stay there in perpetuity. There will be a time when you'll be out. Now, ask yourself a question, that when I am out, how do I want to be treated? How do I want this law to protect me? Or to protect those who will be outside? So that is what we should do. So you go there with all fairness, with oneness, that we are all connected in one way or another. We are all one whole. All these, you and me and others, they are just part of the bigger portion, who is the spirit. So if we consider that manner, we go with that spiritual mind, then you will do things that are correct. You will do things that will protect you and which will protect others. So even those who are in power, they have cried foul now that human rights have been violated, all these things have done. But if we did, including me, if we did something that was good by changing those laws would have protected us from the police. But the police, the same people, those who are in power now, they cried when they were in opposition. They are crying about the police. So to me, I said, no, it's not the police then. The root cause is the system. So the environment in which the police are operating is such a way that they can be ordered easily. And they will fear that if I don't heed to these instructions, I will be out of employment. And how do I fit? So they have to operate. But if the police are given the system in which they can discharge their duties professionally without fear or favor, they will be able to do things. Not only that, not that those who are outside or in the opposition are wrongdoers. No. Wrongdoers are found in either side. So the law must be able to have that fairness in the way it is applied. But the system that we have here is that those who are in government, they have more monopolies, all the powers that they can do, literally anything that they can do. They are not guided by statutes, such that if you do this, there will be another body which will check your exercise. And perhaps if you found guilt, there will be punishment. If there was that sense, they would have not been doing it. Then only when they are checked is when they are out of government. That's when now there is a law now which follows them. I think that is not supposed to be the case. Even when he's in, he must know that he must respect others. So right now, it's those who are in the government now, they are very safe. Kada can behave in a manner that he wants to do because he knows that there is a minister who knows me. But minister, look at this man, what he's doing, a policeman. Then the policeman says, no. What do? I have to. Even when this man who belongs to the opposition was right. So I have to just leave it that way. And that way we cause anarchy. It's not that the police maybe, the ratings of the police when it came out. That Zambia was number 100 and something in terms of performance in human rights protection. Why? Because they are being used by politicians. They are not operating professionally. So let's put laws that they can operate independently so that even when you are out yourself, you are now the president, you will be the former president. You are now the minister, you will be the former minister. You are now the DC, you will be the former DC. So all these goals, you are now the PS, you will be the former PS. So when you come out, which law will protect you? Nothing. You will still use the same law. And these laws, some of these laws that we are using now, they were crafted 50, 100 years ago when by your colonial masters to protect them from us. You understand? So we are still using them. Why can't we come to terms with the reality and live in a spiritual way? Because we are spiritual beings and say, what is good for me must be good for everybody. And let me go and save everybody. And I save me and save everyone else because everyone else is the same spirit. They are only these as just social mask and different, these are disguises. But the truth is that we are spiritual beings, which we are all the same in the manner that we are created because we are all from God. So that is what I am saying. So if we go in government with that spiritual mind, then you will be able to do correct things, that correct decision will be made, where everyone will feel very happy, where everyone will have a share of their own resources that we have. Because these resources, they are ours.
0776409840 is the number. Director, we open the phone line and pick one or two calls. And remember, when you call us, be brief, direct to your question or your contribution. Turn down the volume on your TV set to avoid feedback and delays. My guest is former Defense Minister, Honorable Richwell Siamunene, and we are looking at current affairs. Where have we gone wrong? We've talked about issues of drought, we've talked about the agriculture sector, the mining sector, the energy sector, and now we are talking about the conduct of the police. And there is a question here from Mutare from Mutere Bwali, as we are waiting for a call. Honorable, my question is, how are we going to completely reduce cases of corruption in these sectors so that our government can collect enough revenue to sustain our economy? Let's speak because we'll be able to respond to that. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
I'm calling from Kitwe.
Yes, Abualia, be brief. Go ahead.
Yes. My contribution is this one. As a nation, I think let's look at the solar system. Let's look at wind. Let's also look at the nuclear power. I think these two will assist us. Now, on solar, what the government is supposed to do, it's supposed to at least provide the cheaper solar systems so that it will be affordable for farmers, it will be affordable for Zambians. I think this is my contribution, sir.
Thank you so much, Walia. Let's speak another call. 0776409840 is the number. Remember, when you call us, you reduce the volume on your TV set. Be brief, like Walia from Kitwe. You'll be given an opportunity to
Good evening.
Or maybe to ask your question. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is I'm calling from Zambia.
Your name again?
Richwell Siamunene.
pamene mweze mupawa tinenzoona kuti imene mweze kusanya government yanayaromu munamboziona manje se munafika mu ulero toka Siamunene kuti muikala mu nyumba eri muonako kuli problem kimukanda you are also a bad person. What we saw in Sinazongwe, it's only that pamene mwezi wa minister kuli the national benefit apart from kuona road yanu kuti yankala improved pangene sana na watu wengine na road yankala improved pamene mwezi wa ministers. But we were supposed to benefit as a resident of Sinazongwe, but we never benefited when we were MP, when we were minister. So I think for some of us, there's nothing that we can believe that can come from you, sir. I thank you. The new Johnny government has given you freedom to speak the way you want, and your government never even gave the opposition.
Let's squeeze in one more call, Director, one more call, and then we'll allow the minister to, former minister rather, to respond. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
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 Good evening.
Yeah, is that the...
Reduce the volume on your TV set.
Hello.
Reduce the volume on your TV set. Thank you so much. Director, let's pick another call on the number 077640 9840. The instructions are very simple. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you, Chief?
Fine. Tell us your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Peter calling you from Livala.
Peter, let's hear your contribution. Be brief.
Sure. See, that's a very wonderful topic that you have there. How are you, Honorable?
I'm all right. How are you, Peter from Livala?
I'm very fine, sir, but you see, it's about time that we beautify this, our country. Yeah, because you see, the problem with you politicians, when you're not in power, you know God. The moment you ascend there, you sideline God. Now, how do you achieve? How do you achieve? Because you see, these people that you are reading, they are not your people. These are God's people. So if you're not consulting the owner of these people, how can you achieve? You cannot achieve. You see, the PF government used to, instruct the police officers to say, okay, beat UPND, but Mr. This Honorable, I've forgotten his name, Gary Kobo. He was once beaten there, and he was, crying. And, brutally beaten by the police officers. Today they are in the office, there's something still happening to police officers. Now, you see, like you said, the other government, the other political channel will come there. They will start doing the same thing. You see? And you see, you mentioned the Kasenseri there. Even that have got a lot of money. Now, I wonder why sometimes you hear the president saying, no, we don't have money. Sometimes you hear the minister saying we don't have money. I wonder, she should have to plan MP. I don't know. Maybe we are politicians who are not responsible enough. Maybe, I don't know. Previous regime, the current regime, when you come in power, all you complain, there is no money. No, there is no money. There is no. How come to we want to
Peter, thank you so much.
Deliver Zambia and deliver the leader.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Honorable, we have to go, but you can respond to Walia. Walia was agreeing issues of power. The caller from Mazabuka was saying people of Sinazongwe, when you are a minister and MP, they never benefited. You just worked on the road. I don't know whether leading to your farm or your house. Then Peter is saying you politicians who are not in power, you know God, but immediately you are voted for, you forget about God. You start complaining that we don't have money. He has cited Kasenseri. We have money, but but mtwala kuisendera ma politicians. Then here Materebwale is saying, my question is, how can we what are we going to do to completely reduce cases of corruption in the sector so that our government can collect enough revenue to sustain our economy?
I don't know. I think for me, I've always known my God. From my involvement, you can go and ask. I was the Deputy Minister of Commerce. The office is still there. If I did anything to benefit myself, I was minister in Western Province. You go and ask there, Western Province is there, the record are there. If I did any contract that favors me, you can go to the same Works and Supply. That ministry where there is a lot of issue of roads and what that time, I never had anything. God is my witness. I'm saying this on front of the cameras. If anyone has an issue at Ministry of Works and Supply where I did anything, you can come forward. I worked at Defense. They did what they could do. I had to wait. If I did anything wrong in that department. I am now, because I see that, okay, if there is something wrong, they will have to find it. But I'm here, and I'm stating clearly, I always remember my God and always do what is correct for me and for other people. Talking about, it's up to him, this guy, if he doesn't see what we did. Remember, even you, I think that time you came, when there was a groundbreaking ceremony for a bottom road. And it was almost, and the contractor was engaged at that time. And when I lost, there was nowhere to follow up. And electricity, there are other villages that have benefited from electricity there. We have electricity around. The road where it was difficult, they reached even in Siampondo, which you don't know, and the Kafambira. They had never seen a grade of that nation. Anyway, I leave him, that guy, to God. I don't want to, I don't argue on the issues, because if I lie, I'm lying to myself, because God is in. Because now they're coming to the other guy who say, you forget. I don't know those. For me, I always do what is correct for myself and for my fellow human being. It's unfortunate that I'm a politician among those, and we are grouped in the same category as when they talk about, they don't know that there could be good politician and bad politician. And then you find that politicians, okay, now they are saying you are able to speak. I never had any instruction, and I served as a cabinet minister in that was 2015, 2016. Only 1 year. Maybe people don't know. I only served 1 year.
You're a minister, a full cabinet minister for 1 year.
For 1 year. Only 1 year. And all these things that when we were coming, I was already out, and I stopped in 2016. 2016, that's when my ministerial position expired, and I've been out. Maybe they don't know. I think we should, when we are at this forum, let's speak the facts, because the facts will defend you. I've been out. Unless they come now, let them come. Have you heard me, or have you heard any agents following me up? You are in the media. Have you heard anything? And how many years have I been out of power? I've told you, from 2016 up to date. I know myself what I do. I only eat what I work myself through my mind. What the other question?
That what can we do to get rid of corruption so that different sectors can have them?
It will enhance our systems, our governance system. They are weak, so they must be strong enough, so much so that we don't hear corruption after one has left the office. It must be there. If a minister has been found to be corrupt, let him be subjected to the investigating wings, and to make sure that if he is found guilty, then he leaves. Because that doesn't mean that only those who are out are corrupt. And when you are only out, that's when they discover corruption. No, it must be, even when you are still there must be that kind of thing that one must be dismissed because of corruption. Because I think it is the public, they are right. Because this is what has been the trend in the Zambian politics. And as such, everyone else, even those who are there now, they are grouped. Even those who are very innocent. Sometimes they are very innocent and they are grouped in that category. But however, corruption is cancer. And it's the one that is making us to be where we are. Because you receive some gratification of some kind. That means that that contractor, instead of you monitoring and evaluating correctly, then you will not do that. He will do a short job. And then the following day, or after six months, the work has to be done again. Maybe the house or a structure collapses. So who, because maybe the PS, maybe the minister, maybe the director was involved, and they cannot take punitive action against the erring contractor, because they know that they were part of the beneficiary from that contract. I think that is what is there.
Honorable, thank you so much. The time that we are given is up, and hope to see you soon. Now that you are back and commenting on national matters or current affairs, hope to see you very soon. And wishing you all the best as you continue to comment on the current affairs.
No, I will comment on current affairs. I will not fear. I don't favor anyone. I will speak my mind. I don't speak to protect anyone. Only what I feel is right or what is correct, I will speak about it. Please don't follow me. I'm here.
Thank you so much. There you have it. We've been looking at current affairs. Where have we gone wrong? My guest being a former defense minister, and indeed some of us, we didn't know that he only served for 1 year, and he has said he just served for 1 year from 2015 to 2016 as Minister of Defense. Richwell Siamunene has been my guest on the program. Until next week, same time, same place. On behalf of the entire production crew, this has been Tabola Kelvin Chifogo. On behalf of Honorable Richwell Siamunene, it is bye-bye for now.